Hello and welcome back to our second video for Tinnitus Week. I'm Joanne Gordon, Coordinator of the Chesterfield and North Derbyshire Tinnitus Support Group, and we're here again with Audrey to discuss some of the strategies she put in place to manage her tinnitus, as well as hints and tips for you to manage your condition. Hello again, Audrey.
Hello, Joanne.
So firstly, what did you do, Audrey, to manage your tinnitus?
I did very simple things, which I call my emotional props. When I realised that the tinnitus wasn't going to do me any harm, I started to put in place some techniques. My worst times were first thing in the morning and last thing at night when I went to bed, when everywhere was quiet. So for the morning, I had a clock radio so that instead of hearing the noisy alarm, I had the voices of the DJs and the music. And at bedtime, in those days, it was a cassette tape, and I had the tape with some music that a friend had put on for me, and I played that. It didn't bother my husband, he was quite happy to have the music. Nowadays, of course, there are sound devices, there's CDs, apps, and the sound devices that play rain and streams and things like that, which many people find helpful. I also did muscle relaxation. If I found that I was tense when I went to bed, I'd do the muscle relaxation and it helped me to relax. And then, of course, during the daytime, as I went from room to room, or if I felt the need, I would take my cassette player with me and play the music in the background at a level just below the level of my tinnitus, which is important. You shouldn't have music on loud. You've got to allow your brain to learn to habituate to it or to learn to ignore it. I also embraced nature and then enjoyed time in the garden and walking, and most importantly, learned how to deal with my emotions.
Okay, thank you. So what advice would you give to others for managing their tinnitus?
Well, the simplest strategies work the best even today, which is almost 40 years after my tinnitus started. This starts with sound enrichment, which means bringing pleasant sounds into your life, like music. Don't allow yourself to listen to your tinnitus. Embrace nature and focus on what people are saying when talking to you. Don't immerse yourself into listening to your tinnitus. A healthy lifestyle is also important, together with exercise, depending upon your abilities, and try to regularly get some fresh air and seek the help of a support group. Our support group is known as a happy group. Although it's been difficult since the start of the pandemic, we have remained engaged with our members through our newsletters, which have evolved into booklets. We include items to help people to manage their tinnitus, inspirational stories, poetry, and lots of information to encourage and support people, and we have had excellent feedback. When we're able to hold meetings again, we meet up monthly and usually have a speaker and refreshments afterwards. We run a poetry group and do well-being walks. We're also very active and committed to our members. However, currently we run our online local support group via Zoom, and we're in contact with members by phone calls from time to time also.
Good, yeah. So many people with tinnitus struggle to get a good night's sleep. What would you advise to someone struggling to sleep?
First of all, it is important to prepare yourself for a good night's sleep. I'm now going to give you a list of things. The list can be quite endless, really, and people being unable to sleep is a universal problem, even for people that don't have tinnitus. So I'll just give you a list of things. Don't drink anything that contains caffeine before going to bed. In fact, it is best to stop drinking drinks that include caffeine from about lunchtime, as it stays in your body for such a long time. Don't drink alcohol as a nightcap. You may get up to sleep straight away, but you will undoubtedly wake up during the night and be able to sleep again afterwards. Switch off the television and any appliance that emits a bright light, especially in your bedroom. You can start preparing before going to bed by lowering the lights downstairs. It is best if your bedroom is dark and not too warm. I don't have a radiator on in the bedroom at all. If you can't relax because of your tinnitus, music may help you. But again, any sound you have must be below the level of your tinnitus. There are apps to download, and the British Tinnitus Association have devices that will help you. Progressive muscle exercise, as previously mentioned. This is an exercise where you tense and release the muscles in your body from the toes to the top of your head, and this can help to relax you so that you go to sleep. And finally, create a routine, which is very important. Go to bed at the same time every night and get up at the same time in the morning. This really does work. Don't think that if you don't sleep very well one night that you possibly can go, make it up another night. It's still best to stay to that routine.
And it's good not to stress about it as well, isn't it, if you can't sleep?
Absolutely.
So some people say that they wake up at night, in the middle of the night. So what happens if you wake up in the middle of the night?
You shouldn't lie there just listening to your tinnitus. Play your music or app, and if this doesn't work, get out of bed and go into another room, perhaps make a drink and read a book until you start to feel drowsy. The purpose of this is to change your mindset and to stop you stressing about going to sleep and catastrophizing about how you will feel the next day. However, try to get up at the usual time the next morning, even after a broken night's sleep, and no doubt you will feel ready for going to sleep at your usual time the following night and sleep better. Try to avoid afternoon naps, but if this just happens, try to limit it to 10 or 15 minutes refresher naps.
Okay, thank you. So one more question. Does tinnitus keep you awake at night?
No, definitely not. It's been part of who I am for such a long time. I don't pay attention to it. Most of the time, day or night, I don't even notice my tinnitus, and it's been like this for years and years, which proves how my brain has habituated to it. An example of habituation is if you lived in a converted railway station house and the trains still passed by regularly, you may struggle to cope with the noise of the trains day and night, but your brain would learn to habituate to it. The key is, once you know that the noise won't do you any harm, it is easier to manage it and allow your brain to habituate to it, or in other words, allow your brain to ignore it.
Thank you so much, Audrey. That's really interesting. So I'm just going to put those numbers up again on the screen for anybody who needs our help or support or help from the British Tinnitus Association. Once again, our numbers to contact. If you need our help and support, you can contact Chesterfield and North Derbyshire Tinnitus Support Group on 01246 380 415. And there's also our email and website and the British Tinnitus Association number. Thank you.